U.S. President Donald Trump announces the ceasefire with Iran will continue as per the request made by Pakistan's Field Marshal Asim Munir and Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif, instructing the blockade to continue as preparations take place for the next round of U.S.-Iran peace talks.
Pakistan thanks President Trump for extending the ceasefire, with Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif and Field Marshal Asim Munir expressing gratitude for U.S. support. Pakistan vows to continue efforts for a lasting peace deal.
Iranian advisor Mehdi Mohammadi rejects Trump's ceasefire extension, labeling it a delaying tactic. He calls the U.S. blockade on Iranian ports equivalent to bombing, warning of a military response and urging Iran to seize the initiative in the standoff.
The UN welcomes President Trump's ceasefire extension with Iran, calling it a vital step toward diplomacy and de-escalation. A UN spokesperson urges continued diplomatic efforts and backs Pakistan's role in facilitating dialogue between the US and Iran.
FBI Director Kash Patel engages in a heated exchange with reporters at a press conference, lashing out over questions about his ongoing lawsuit. Patel calls reporters fake news mafia and threatens to sue for defamation.
Iran's Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi warns that a blockade of Iranian ports would be an act of war, accusing the US of violating the ceasefire. He condemns strikes on commercial vessels and crew detentions as tensions escalate along key shipping routes.
Iran's foreign ministry says no decision had been made on sending a delegation to Islamabad for talks with the U.S. Spokesman Ismail Baghai criticizes U.S. flip-flops and threats, questioning Washington's seriousness in negotiations.
Iran's envoy Saeed Iravani says lifting the U.S. naval blockade is crucial to restarting negotiations, with talks potentially set for Islamabad. He warns Iran is ready to respond if the U.S. opts for conflict, but remains open to dialogue.
Iran urges the UN to condemn the U.S. seizure of an Iranian-flagged vessel near the Sea of Oman, calling it a violation of international law and ceasefire terms. Iran demands a firm response from the UN Security Council, labeling the act as piracy.
Over 30 nations gather in London for a military planning session hosted by the UK and France, focusing on reopening the Strait of Hormuz. The closure caused by Iran's response to US-Israeli strikes has disrupted global energy supplies and maritime traffic.
The European Union expands sanctions on Iran, targeting those blocking the Strait of Hormuz. European Union Foreign Policy Chief Kaja Kallas calls for stronger naval protection in the Middle East amid rising concerns over maritime security and global energy supplies.
Ukraine restarts crude oil flows through the Ruzba pipeline, with volumes split between Hungary and Slovakia. The move is aimed at securing a €90 billion European loan plan as Ukraine works to meet global support conditions and stabilize its economy.
China proposes a 4-point plan to restore peace in the Middle East, urging dialogue, respect for sovereignty, and adherence to international law. Beijing calls for resumed negotiations and the restoration of passage through the Strait of Hormuz.
Pakistan's Deputy Prime Minister Ishaq Dar holds a phone call with Saudi Foreign Minister Prince Faisal bin Farhan Al Saud. They discuss regional developments, with Saudi Arabia reaffirming support for Pakistan's efforts.
Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman meets Syrian President Ahmed al-Sharia in Jeddah for key diplomatic talks, focusing on regional developments and bilateral relations. The meeting comes amid shifting Middle East dynamics, with details yet to be disclosed.
European Union faces mounting pressure from Ireland, Spain and Belgium to suspend its agreement with Israel over alleged human rights violations and worsening conflict in the Middle East. Ministers urge stronger European Union action, including trade suspension.
Global air travel faces severe disruption due to the Iran war, with major Middle Eastern hubs like Dubai, Doha, and Abu Dhabi closed or operating at limited capacity, causing thousands of flights to be cancelled or rerouted, leading to delays and higher costs. Pakistan condemns the violation of the Al-Aqsa Mosque compound by Israeli settlers, calling it a breach of international law. The country warns of escalating tensions and reiterates its support for a viable Palestinian state and the rights of Palestinians.
Balochistan reopens 3,700 schools, with Chief Minister Mir Sarfaraz Bukti celebrating the return of 100,000 students. Despite progress, 58% of children remain out of school. Bukti also launches Pakistan's first climate endowment fund on Earth Day.
Gold prices in Pakistan eased slightly after recent highs, with 24-karat gold now priced at 503,000 rupees per tola. The minor decline offers brief relief amid ongoing market volatility influenced by global trends.